Morning. Okay. So for the very first time, welcome to Linda Drew, to Robert Levy. Thank you for joining us. I see there are other people online live with us as well. And for the very first time, we are on YouTube live also. So anybody that doesn't have a Facebook account is able to log in through YouTube. Welcome to the new world of technology, where we got multiple ways of logging on to conference calls. And if you don't join a share these days, boy, you must be blind because there's so much going on. Evan Posner, good morning. Michael Stein, good morning. Steve Nossel, good morning. Jenny Lichtenstein, nice to see you. Trevor Gerson, fantastic. Manfred Kalmek, look at that, great. If anybody's joining us on YouTube, we'd love to hear from you as well. You can put into the comments. YouTube/Rabbi Stern. You'll see there the live video taking place right now. So, friends, if you have anyone that's not on Facebook, this is now the new way of communicating. They can go onto YouTube and find my live video right there. Melissa Ganendi, Arnold Orkin, good to see you all. Fantastic. Felicia Jenks, good. Shirley Feldman, fantastic. Excellent. Thank you as well. We're just going to wait a minute or so for our students to all load on. I hope you all had a fantastic, restful, inspiring Shabbos. I'm just move this aside here. Today's world of technology. Look at that. Okay, we got some students on Facebook. Mark Vachanama, good morning. Some students on YouTube live too. If you're joining on YouTube, please say hello on the YouTube chat. If you're joining on Facebook, please say hello on the Facebook chat. Arlene Udelovitz, good morning. Thank you. Nice to see you as well. We're living in an era, messianic era, where the spreading of Torah, there's so many options. The spreading of Torah, unbelievable. Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, WhatsApp, who knows? There's so much going on. YouTube is a new offering. Being not everyone is on Facebook, we've now created a YouTube live link as well. You can access it at youtube.com/Rabbi Stern. You'll be able to see it there. Marian Sachs, Miriam, nice to see you here. Good morning. Okay, wonderful. We're just going to wait to the end, to the 5-minute mark, and then we're going to get going with our learning for today. And I will share with you our topic. Right, we're going to get going. First of all, if you are online with us, please do share the video on your timeline. Press share, and it will go out to all your friends. And that way they'll know what you're up to. We're going to learn something from Pirkei Avot, which caught my attention yesterday as we were reading the first chapter. And maybe before I get to the actual chapter itself, there was something very special about yesterday's Shabbos. And let me just highlight what was unique about Shabbos yesterday. Shabbos yesterday was the culmination of Pesach, as we culmination of every week. And so Shabbos yesterday was the culmination of Pesach in a way, even though we're now celebrating Nisan, and obviously the month of celebration of redemption continues, but in a way, there was something very powerful about Shabbos being the culmination of the week of Pesach, and so Shabbos concludes the Pesach celebration. As well as that, the Shabbos also prepares you for the coming week. In the coming month, it was Shabbos Mevarchim. It was a Shabbos that we blessed the new month of Iyar. And so the Shabbos played a dual role it concluded the festivities of Pesach and began the preparation for the new month of Iyar. So it was Shabbos Mevorchim, the new month of Iyar. What's Iyar? We know Iyar stands for 4 words or 3 words. Iyar is Ani, that's the Aleph. Yud stands for Hashem. Ani Hashem, I am God. And the Reish stands for Rofecha, I am the God, your healer. That's the new month that we're moving into. So on the one hand, it's a little bit depressing that we're about to leave Nisan. Nisan's a miraculous month, especially now during this time that we need miracles for the month of Nisan. And we're going into Iyar. But that shouldn't be a depressing thought, because Iyar, it stands for Ani Hashem Rofecha, I am Hashem, your healer. And so there's a healing aspect in the month of Iyar, which is very powerful. And we're hoping and we're praying that Iyar will bring refuah and healing to the entire world. So Shabbos yesterday was leaving Pesach and moving into blessing the new month of Iyar. One other thought that was unique about Shabbos yesterday was that we began reading Pirkei Avot, and this is what I wanted to focus on, ethics of our fathers, between Mincha and Mariv. If you don't do it, you haven't done it yet, I suggest you do it. It's amazing how you can get through one chapter every week, going from now till Shavuot, and then we continue, please God, until Rosh Hashanah. And yesterday was chapter 1. And what's amazing, what's the reason? Let's discuss the reason. What's the reason why we read Pirkei Avot in the Shabbos beginning from Pesach going forward? There's a number of reasons. Number one is that we're preparing now for Shavuot. And as we know, we're counting Sfira between Pesach and Shavuot, 7 weeks. And so it's a time to start perfecting ourselves and improving ourselves and working on ourselves. And there's nothing better than the book of Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers, which, by the way, is in the Art Scroll Siddur and all Siddurim. It features after Mincha on Shabbos afternoon. That's where Pirkei Avot is placed in the Siddur, because generally the custom is to say and read and learn Pirkei Avot on Shabbos afternoon between Mincha and Mariv. So that's where it is in the Siddur after Mincha of Shabbos. And we start Pirkei Avot. We're preparing ourselves for Shavuot, and it's a time to improve ourselves, to perfect ourselves, to work on ourselves. And Pirkei Avot does that. Pirkei Avot is about life lessons and lessons of morality, lessons of ethics. Welcome Gidon and Tandy Steckel onto our YouTube link. You are the first one to comment on our new format of YouTube. So welcome aboard. Good to have you here. Fantastic. So that's what yesterday was about. We're preparing ourselves for Pirkei Avot and for Shavuot. And that's one of the reasons we read Pirkei Avot, is to get ourselves ready for Shavuot. That's one reason. Reason number two is because it's longer weeks. It's in the northern hemisphere, it's now the summer. We're moving into the summer. It's going to be longer Shabbos afternoons. So what do we do if we have a longer Shabbos afternoon? What do we do? We've got a longer Shabbos afternoon. It's time to learn something. So traditionally, we learn Pirkei Avot on a longer Shabbos afternoon to learn Pirkei Avot. Third of all, because in the northern hemisphere it's the summer, generally in the summer we're more lax and more laid back about our Jewish observance. You know how it goes. So welcome to Helen Feinstein, welcome to Norman Stain, Neil Herman. Good to have you guys online. So what happens in the summer? Generally in the summer, we're more lax about our conduct, about our behavior. And so therefore we learn Pirkei Avot, because Pirkei Avot reminds us that although we're going into the summer months, obviously in the northern hemisphere, and generally in the summer holidays, things become more lax, whether it's kashrut, or whether it's tzniut, or dress codes, or conduct, or tefillin, things change during the summer for some reason. And so learning Pirkei Avot during the summer months in the northern hemisphere is a reminder that although we're going into the summer, we should not drop our standards. We should keep our standards where it's supposed to be. And that's the reason why we learn Ethics of Our Fathers on Shabbos afternoon. But what's interesting is that, what do we read in the first Mishnah? In the first Mishnah, we read, Moshe Kibbel Torah Misinai, that Moshe received the Torah from Mount Sinai, or Mesora Yeshua, and he gave it over to Joshua. And Joshua then gave it over to the Scanin, the elders. And the elders then gave it over to the men of the Great Assembly. So Torah kept on going from one address to another address to another address. And that's preparing us for Shavuot. So in a way, yesterday's Shabbos was very unique. It was the conclusion of Pesach. It was the beginning of the month of Iyar, because we blessed a new month. And it was preparing us for Shavuot as well, as we began Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers, which focuses on the descent and the transition of Torah from one generation to the next. And I want to focus on one particular section of yesterday's Mishnah, yesterday's chapter that I came across. And that's right at the beginning, where it says, Moshe kibel Torah miSinai. And Moshe received the Torah from Sinai, from Mount Sinai. It's an interesting terminology. He got it miSinai. He got it from Sinai. I mean, Sinai is not a person. Sinai is not a being. Sinai is a mountain. He didn't get it from Sinai. He got it on Sinai. So the Hebrew terminology really would have been more ideal to write Moshe kibel Torah b'Sinai. Then Moshe received the Torah on Mount Sinai. That really would have been the correct terminology. And yet it didn't say that. It says miSinai, from Sinai. And there's many interpretations on this particular statement of the Mishnah. And I want to share some of them with you today. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them into the comments bar, either on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube Live, you can comment there too. I'd love to see your comments. Feel free. We'd love to see your comments there. Okay, good. So if you have any questions, please post them. Let's discuss what we learned from the word miSinai. Good. So Rosie's back online with us. Fantastic. So guys, I see some people are battling to find the right stream on Facebook when we start. It's quite straightforward, because as you log into my Facebook profile, the first thing that features at 10:30 in the morning is a live video. So it's always on top, and it's got to say the date. If you've logged in and the live video isn't yet there, just wait, because it will feature online and it will say the date. That's how you will know how to log in. So what do we learn from Moshe kibel Torah miSinai? So one interpretation why it says the the M, instead of b'Sinai, on Mount, did Moshe spend on the mountain? Let's hand this over to the students. Let's get some student participation here. How long did Moshe Rabbeinu spend on the mountain receiving the Torah from God? Please post the answer into the comments bar so that I can see your participation and answering our question. I'll just wait a moment to see our answers come through. How long did Moshe spend on the mountain of Mount Sinai when receiving the Torah? Feel free to put the answers into the comments bar. Great. Now they're coming through. Thank you, Mark. 40 days and 40 nights. Exactly. The numerical value of Mem. Excellent, Miriam. Thank you. Mem equals 40. I see Stephen Her's comment came through, but Stephen, you're not commenting on the actual lesson. You're commenting privately to me. So why don't you post it on the group, Stephen? And we're learning in memory of Stephen Her's mother, Esther Bat Moshe. But please, Stephen, put the comments into the class chat. Thank you. Okay, I see everyone's now posting their answers. Thank you all. 40 days and 40 nights is the correct answer. Bingo. Thank you. So the miSinai, when it says that Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah miSinai, the mem, why doesn't it say he received it on Mount Sinai? Why does it say he received it from Mount Sinai? Because it's teaching us that he spent 40 days and 40 nights on top of the mountain. Very good. Well done. So that's what we learn from Sinai. But there's another answer. Another answer, what Moshe Rabbeinu learned. Why it says Sinai, from Mount Sinai. And the answer is because Moshe Rabbeinu learned a very powerful lesson from Sinai. So when it says Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai, then Moshe Rabbeinu learned the Torah from Mount Sinai. Yes, he learned something from Sinai. And that's why it emphasizes the word me, from. In addition to the first answer, that mem is 40 days and 40 nights. In addition to that, there's another reason. There's another reason why it says mem, me, to teach us that he learned something from Sinai. What did he learn from Sinai? So let me explain it to you. On a different note, it's interesting that Moshe Rabbeinu, when Moshe was called on by God to free the Jewish people from Egypt, Moshe was very, very reluctant. As we know that God appeared to him in the burning bush. And when God appeared to him in the burning bush, the first thing Moshe said was, no way, I can't do this. I've got a speech impediment. I'm not the right person. Call on my brother Aaron. Aaron can be the right person to do it. Why are you calling on me? Etc., etc. How come when it came to the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't back out? Moshe Rabbeinu sort of accepted the invitation by God to receive the Torah on behalf of the Jewish people. Interesting question, eh? So you could say simply that he learned his lesson. You know, he tried to brush it off first time round. God wasn't very happy with him, so he didn't try it again. You could say that. But there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to that explanation. So why is it that when it came to the giving of the Torah, Moshe did not back down? When it came to freeing the Jewish people out of Egypt, there he was very concerned. And here's a lesson he learned from Sinai. Moshe was humble. That's why he didn't want the job initially to take the Jews out of Egypt. Why me? Who am I? There's better people than me. There's Aaron. Go choose Aaron. He's better than me. But then he sees that God is looking for a mountain on which to give the Torah. He's looking for a mountain. And believe it or not, Mount Sinai was not the tallest of mountains. There was Mount Carmel. There was Mount Tabor. There were other mountains that God could have chosen as the right mountains on which to give the Torah. But he specifically did not choose those mountains. As we all know, the famous idea, the anecdote, that God chose Mount Sinai, because Mount Sinai is a sign of humility. And he specifically chose Sinai to be the one, because Sinai is humble. And Moshe Rabbeinu sees this, and he says, wow, isn't that fascinating, that God did not choose Tabor and Carmel and the other big mountains. He went specifically to Sinai, which was a smaller of the nation, of the mountains. And Moshe thinks to himself, now I can't back out of this, because God's looking for humility. That's what he's looking for. My whole reason why I was reluctant to go down to Egypt was because of humility. I didn't want to go down to Egypt. Let him choose someone else who's more successful and more capable than me. When it came to the giving of the Torah, the reason why Moshe was not reluctant at all, and we don't find any hesitation on Moshe's side, is because he learned something from Sinai, Sinai. He learned something from Sinai. God chose Sinai for a reason, because Sinai is the more humble of the mountains. And so Moshe says, God's looking for humility. If he's looking for humility, then obviously I can't turn away from this now. On the contrary, to turn away from this now would be a sign of haughtiness, self-centeredness. God wants Torah to be absorbed through humility, through anivut. And so he chose Mount Sinai, and he chose Moshe Rabbeinu. And so Moshe Rabbeinu accepted the task. And so he did it. There's a famous vart. It's a word that says, a pasuk, a verse that says, Chachma me'ayin timsa, timatze. Chachma me'ayin timatze. Which means that wisdom comes from ayin. That word ayin is an interesting word that, simply speaking, my audio is breaking up, according to Robert Levy. My audio is breaking up. Robert Levy, I'm not sure if that's your side or my side. Can anybody indicate here if my audio is coming through clearly or not? Rob says that my audio is breaking up. Can anyone else indicate what's happening with my audio? Is it clear or not? I'll just wait for your indication here before I move on. Just let us know if you're all feeling what Rob is feeling, that my audio is breaking up. I'd like to know that going forward. Good morning, Gary. Oh, breaking up. Two of you. Good morning, Gary Sachs. Welcome aboard. This is interesting. Breaking up. Who else? Me also. Also breaking up. If you put in 5G, you should be able to solve that one. Gary. Oh, so Gary, can you hear me clearly? Mine is terrible. Oh, this isn't very good feedback, guys. Breaking up. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do.